Hey fellas, Rusty coming at you. I think we're going to call this video, they don't make them like this anymore. And in a way, that's a good thing. And in a way, it's not. So, I have here a Winchester. This would be called a Swell end jackknife. There's a tang stamp. Now, Winchester, I'm sorry if I keep talking and stopping, but this thing has to have good blade centering because, whoo, it's so thin. Anyways, as I was saying, this is Winchester made knives from 1919 to 1942. So that's only about a 23-year period. And I believe this wouldn't be in Delrin because Delrin wasn't invented yet. I forget exactly the year that it was invented. But we're going to compare this to a little bit more modern knife. And I think we'll see blade grinds and stuff on the modern knife is better. But I'll tell you what, the overall build quality, spot on. And you can get these for less than 50 bucks. So take a look around. I got a diamond shield, got a little bit of the pivot showing there. And like I said, it'll be a Swell end jackknife. There's your nail nicks. Nice half stop. The springs are still working fine. I can tell from, look at that. Okay. I can tell that this one was used a lot because I believe there's actually wear between the tang, right here where the tang moves on this spring, and you'll see that in these old knives. It would be carbon steel, and that's what we're looking at there. But these also would have been, in my opinion, hand ground. So not a machine. This was a guy sitting on a stool with a grinding wheel in front of him, grinding in everything, the plunge grind, the blade grind. And let's take, those springs. This is U.S. craftsmanship at its finest. This is why we are where we are today. We can thank our forefathers. Just check out this action. Boom. Check out the snap. All right. This could be 80, 90 years old. Okay. It's at least 70. Here we go. You can see the grit as usual. I will soak these and then, well, I don't soak them. I rinse them out in warm water and I just oiled it. And what'll happen, whoo, much snappier. And that's why I think this other one is maybe more worn. But just run through hot water, put some oil in the pivots, and when you work them, it kind of works all this oil out. And I may hit this with some WD-40. I may do like knife delights and soak it in mineral oil, just to let all that stuff come off on its own, get that grit out. But I'm telling you, action is plenty fine. Wondering about the steel, how we could do for putting an edge on there. And I don't know if we want to touch it up at all, clean it up in terms of removing that carbon. I think I do, but we'll leave that for later on. So anyways, that's the Winchester knife, the old one, a Swell end jackknife. And sorry about that. Just going to compare, going to bring out a modern day. Now this one would be in Delrin, and this is the case. So a little bit more polish work is done. I actually think maybe a little bit of a gap here We'll compare that to my Winchester. Okay, brass liners. Would have been stainless steel. We'll give you guys, the case is a 3.5 inch. So we'll go ahead and open this up. That Winchester has a snappier action. And this is a snappy one. I always kind of talk about how I really like my case mini trappers because they're snappy. So little bit, when we get to the blade grind and the nail nick, you know, I do think this would be done by machine. And with the machine, you can get more precision. You can get that tang, the plunge grind a little better. You can get that blade shape. I think they just stamp them out. See how the tang contacts are looking. Okay. I think the Winchester also, they both taper to, you know, the front there. They get narrower at the tip. The case gets a little bit more narrow. Sharpening choil, of course, the sharpening choil could have been chewed up. We have no idea what this blade looked like originally. It could have came to a nice point there. Let's go here. Okay, this isn't the snappiest one here. So it's about comparable with this one. Now with this one, that's the Wharncliffe. This one, you had a pen blade option. So, you know, I would like this Wharncliffe option. Who knows what this case will look like 50, 60 years from now. Will still be holding its own, so to speak. Will it start to loosen up? Will the springs snap, break? What about the shield? So let's go over that action again. So, okay. All right. Let's go ahead and open this one up. That one helps you from like here up. I mean, it's popping. You get it here and it just takes over. Okay. Walk and talk. Plenty of active. It's very active. Bam, into half. Woo! Bam, into closed. Love that. That's called good snap. So, I'm done it. Having a bad morning so far. Going to be 103 today. Anyways, there you go. There's a look at a oldie. This is a look at a newie, if you will. And yeah, let me know what you guys know about Winchesters. Be sure to check out some more Winchester knives I have. In my opinion, the ones I got are a hidden secret, guys. Absolutely must take a look at what I have and consider them for yourself. They are from the past and they are gems. Thanks now. Hey fellas, just kind of had an afterthought here. I cut this jerky, it's salmon jerky, into little bits and give it to my dog, and helps her be a good dog. And I thought I'd do that on film. Now this knife has been sharpened by yours truly and has a pretty decent edge. Now it's a carbon steel, and I'm going to do a series of knife sharpenings on what edges, what grit to take these to. So that'll be the knife, and I do this task every day. So this knife I bought used, has a beat up edge, a used edge, but we need to talk about what we'll call the geometry. So for this task, it's going to come down a little bit to blade geometry. We're pushing it through, and it's still, instead of slicing. Okay, now earlier in this video I talked about plunge grinds, and if you can see the plunge, or how they did this by hand, and I can tell you after examining it, it's got this more, it's kind of off center. In other words, if we could see it, it's got more material is taken off this side and less off that side, and you can tell that right, hopefully I can get this, you know, right here, if you guys can see that. So we'll get into the test and we'll see how this performs. Okay, that was a little difficult. You can see it kind of mushing, so I'm not sure if a new edge, well, I am pretty sure a new edge would help. And this, okay, if you can still see that, okay. And also that's blade thinness. So we'll go ahead, I'm not going to put these away, I'm going to keep cutting. I think I will put an edge on this. Thanks guys.